Hi everyone! Today, I'm bringing you a strong update on the private life of Turkish actor Cem Yalman. Because what looked like a simple breakup rumor has turned into a real family earthquake. The father's comment that lit the fire. For weeks, people had been whispering on social media that Cem and Sera had split, but neither of them said anything. Then suddenly, the one who broke the silence wasn't the couple. It was Cem's father, Güven Yalman, a man known for being calm. According to leaks that reached the tabloids through a family friend, he reportedly dropped a very harsh line that they were finally rid of Sera. That single sentence blew up online and in the media. Why would a father speak like that about his son's ex? What may have really happened between Sera and the family? Still following what's circulating in the family circle, Güven would be upset not only about the breakup, but about how the last months went. He says Cem went through a very heavy period, and that Sera's behavior clashed head-on with the family. Excessive jealousy, a controlling attitude, disrespectful interference in family matters, angry outbursts during private gatherings, and constant pressure on Cem's career. Some even say she blamed the family for Cem's work pace and demanded professional decisions that many found unjustified. A tension that had been building. What's most striking is that several comments suggest this storm didn't come out of nowhere. Behind the happy photos online, there may have been a dark atmosphere growing for a long time. Some sources claim Sera tried to distance Cem from his family, and that a clash with the actor's mother became a breaking point. Others even insist Sera got nervous when Cem visited his relatives and pressured him not to go. We don't know if that's fully true, but after the father's words, it all sounds far more believable. Cem's silence, strategy, or emotional exhaustion? In the middle of all this, Cem hasn't spoken. His silence has lasted weeks, and people read it in two ways. Some see a calculated strategy. He may be focused on an international project, wants to protect his image, and avoids exposing his private life. Others see pure emotional fatigue. They say the breakup left him shaken, with wounds still open. On top of that, another rumor says that in the final stage, there were intense fights, and even the older family members had to step in. Sera's cryptic messages. Sera also avoided direct statements, but her social media spoke for her. After a few quiet days, she posted mysterious lines that went viral. Phrases like, "I removed unnecessary noise from my life." "Sometimes freedom comes with one decision." Or, "My heart beats more calmly now," were read by her followers as clear shots at Cem. And of course, that reignited the idea that the breakup is real and very recent. Behind the scenes, clashing versions. After the media explosion, people close to them started talking. Friends, acquaintances, agency folks, and every comment added more confusion. A source on the family side says Güven is trying to protect his son, but this time he crossed the line, and his words come from years of built-up anger. From Sera's side, though, they respond that she's ambitious, yes, but professional, and that once the relationship lost balance, everything spiraled out of control. Two opposite narratives that leave a huge question. Who was right? What happens now? From the outside, this still looks like a story without an ending. Some think Cem will focus on his career abroad and let time cool the drama. Others believe the family will try to solve things privately. One thing is clear. This conflict didn't end quietly. There are wounds, crossed versions, and a lot that hasn't been said publicly. And that's the update. Do you think Cem will speak soon? Or is this silence the strongest sign of all? I'm reading you in the comments. When I look at all the noise surrounding Demet Özdemir, I get the impression she has become the most functional piece inside a narrative that others have been exploiting for years. I'm not saying Demet is outside the media game. In that environment, nobody is completely outside. But I do feel she is often cast as the perfect villain because it sells, because it simplifies the story, and because it keeps the Erkenci Koç myth alive. It annoys me that she gets reduced to the toxic one or the snake with no nuance, though I understand why some people feel that way. There are gestures, phrases, and silences that from the outside look calculated or at least very cold. What I feel is that Demet has always been more strategic than Can. He acts on impulse, emotional and transparent in what he feels. She gives me a sense of control, as if she knows exactly when to get close, when to pull away, and when to let others make the noise. That's why there are moments when I think Can ended up used in that dynamic. Not necessarily because Demet meant harm, but because their temperaments are so different that one becomes exposed while the other almost always keeps her balance. I see that imbalance. He puts his heart on the table, and she moves pieces with a cool head. I'm also not fully buying the romantic tale of pure magic, destiny, and passion. To me, it sounds more like a mechanism of interests, crossed egos, and well-managed media timing. That so-called triangle some people talk about doesn't hold up for me because of a hidden great love, but because several people benefit from the story never closing. And Demet, whether she wants to or not, has learned to navigate that circuit. I don't blame her for protecting her career, but I do see how knowing how to play can easily be confused with manipulation, and that's where the toxic label comes from. Still, if I set gossip aside and look at her as an artist, it's obvious her trajectory carries more weight than any rumor. She has kept working non-stop, shifting genres, choosing projects that move her away from romantic comedy and place her in a broader acting space. That tells me she doesn't depend on any fanship or scandal to stay on top. I read that as genuine professional ambition. Demet wants to be established beyond the fandom phenomenon, and that takes discipline, consistency, and a very tough skin. So when people say it's all for fame or for interest, I think there is some truth, but not in a moralistic, they're bad people way. Rather, in the practical sense of how this world works. Demet understands perfectly that visibility is a kind of capital. And if she sometimes leaves small doors open to interpretations about Can, I read it as a way not to completely break a narrative that still gives her international echo. That doesn't mean she's cruelly playing with him. It means she knows that story, even if it's in the past, is still a conversation engine. In the industry, that's power. Even so, my main criticism of Demet isn't about whether she loved Can or not, but about the human cost of keeping a half-alive myth. Because if someone gets hurt every time the story is revived, it's almost always him. She keeps an emotional distance that protects her, while he ends up paying the bill. I wouldn't call that villainy, but it does make her responsible for measuring better how her public gestures impact the other side. If there really was an important bond, I'd expect more care and less profitable ambiguity. In the end, I feel two things at once. On one hand, Demet seems to me like a strong, smart professional with a career growing on her own merit. On the other, her public behavior, so controlled, so strategic, feeds negative perceptions and leaves room for others to build a toxic image of her. I don't buy that extreme picture 100%, but I don't dismiss it as pure fantasy either. There is a real component of calculated coldness. And maybe the truth is right there, in that uncomfortable middle. Demet is neither monster nor saint, but a woman who learned to survive in a system that rewards narrative more than truth, and who, sometimes without meaning to, ends up hurting the more vulnerable person in that story.